Hello and welcome back. Still on operators, we will be taking a look at logical operators. Logical operators are used to combine conditional statements. So let's take a look at an example. So logical operators. So we have the double ampersand, or we can also write it as and. And what this means is it's true, which means both x and y are true. Don't worry if it's not making sense now. When we look at examples, this will be very clear. The next one we will look at is the OR. We use two pipe symbols for this, just like this. Or we can use the word or string OR, just like this. Yeah. And what this means is it's true when either x or y are true. We also have the exclamation, which is the not, and oops, this is trying to use Emmet. Okay, and what this evaluates is true when x is not true. Like I said, we will be taking a look at example, so don't worry, just writing it down. And then we have the XOR, which means exclusive OR. And what this does is it's true when either x or y is true and not both. Let me expand this. Okay, so when learning comparison operators in the previous lesson, we only used one statement, that is, if x is greater than y or y is equal to x, that sort of thing. With logical operators, we can check for two or more statements. Let's see how that works. So let me give new values. I'll choose 20 and 50. And I'll uncomment this for now. And within my echo statement, I will say x is greater than y, which is true. It's false, sorry, because this is 20 and this is 50. Now we can add one more statement with the logical operator. We use AND. So we're saying AND 40 is identical to 40, which evaluates to true. Now let me save this and let's see what we have, then I explain. So we can see nothing is showing up, which means it's false. Now what this simply means is s is greater than y, which is 20, is greater than 50, which is false because 50 is bigger than 20. But the second statement, which is 40 is identical to 40, should evaluate to true. So in this particular example, this was false, but this was true. But when you look at the statement here, it says it's only true when both x and y are true. But this is the case where this was false and this was true. I hope it's clear. So same thing with when we use the ampersand. This is more common, so it's recommended to use this instead. So if I save this and refresh, is the same thing. Now, what if I increase the x value to a bigger number than the y? So let me change this to, like, let's say 60 and save this. Now, if I refresh this, you can see we have 1 appearing. This is because s is greater than y, which is 60 greater than 50, which was true, and 40 is identical to 40, which is also true. So this passed, and because it says it's true when both x and y are true. Now let's take a look at the OR operator. I'll type the OR to replace the AND. And now let me save this and reload. You can see we are getting true, which is 1. And if you look at the case for this, it says it returns true when either x or y are true, which in this case, this evaluated to true and this also evaluated to true. Same thing when I change this all to the pipe symbol or the vertical lines, these two. So this is also the most common one, so use this instead. Now I will deliberately change the 60 to, let's say, let me rather change the y to be 70. So that means we're saying x, which is 60, is greater than 70. And this will evaluate to false. But if you refresh this, you can see the answer is still true because either x or y are true, means this case passes. So now let's change all of them to false. So instead of 40 is identical to 40, I'll change this to like 50. So that means this will evaluate to false, this will evaluate to false. And when we refresh, you can see we have nothing or 0, thereby failing the test case, which says either x or y are true. I hope that was clear. Good. Let us look at the not equal operator. This is represented by an exclamation mark. I'll change the values again. So I'll give this 80 and let this stay at 70. So now the x is greater than the y again. And now I'm about to run this after saving. And since the OR is being used and one part is true, you can guess the answer. It will evaluate to true too. Now, what if I add the exclamation mark, which signifies the not operator, to the x variable? So I'm about to add it here. So I'll add it, no, not in front of the echo, in front of the variable x. And if I save this and I refresh, you can see we get nothing. This produces a false or 0 because even though x was greater than y, the not operator, which is the exclamation, made sure to turn that value into negative. So it reads something like, make sure no matter what, x is not greater than y, even if x value is 1 million. As long as the exclamation is there, it's turning it into false. So this operator turns true to false and vice versa. Alright, let's move on to the next lesson.